July, as you can tell by my 4th of July dress, which means it is time for a June wrap-up. I was on a bit of a reading slump in June, and most of the stuff I did read, I didn't feel like making a video for several reasons. Number one, my life was crazy. Number two, a lot of the stuff I read were sequels for things I hadn't discussed, so I wasn't sure it made sense to make a video. So let's just get into what I read this month. First up, I did finally finish The Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan, and I did enjoy it. It wasn't my favorite. I don't know if it's because what I had been reading recently or what, but I did have a lot of trouble getting through this one, which was not the case with most of Rick Riordan's other books. Maybe it was just I didn't really like Apollo's character that much. He was a little too arrogant for me. It was still a fun read. If you love Rick Riordan books, I still think you'll really like it. It just wasn't my favorite. I read After You. This I also borrowed from my friend Steph, who I borrowed Me Before You from. And this was really good. She had warned me going in that obviously because of the first one you can't expect it to be like a normal sequel, but it was a sequel. It really was. You could feel the first book in this one, and I'm not going to say more than that because anything I could say about this book would be a spoiler for the first one if you haven't read it or seen the movie. If you haven't read it or seen the movie, go do that, like, right now, because it's absolutely amazing. I know there's a lot of controversy about it, but it's amazing. It's heart-wrenching and wonderful. This one is also good. Not as good as the first one, but it also is really good. So go check that out. Next up, I read The Last Little Blue Envelope by Maureen Johnson. Now, I had read 13 Little Blue Envelopes 2 summers ago, and I've read over 200 books since then, so I was a little shaky going into this one about what it was about. I did remember enough that the references to the first one made sense. This was a fun read. I actually think I liked it a little bit more than the first one, which wasn't super memorable for me, which is why I didn't remember everything going in. And again, I didn't want to do a video for it, partly because it wasn't one of my favorite books, and partly because it had been 2 years since I had read the first one. But it is fun. Ginny has to go back to Europe because she finds that last envelope, and she meets up with her old flame, and there might be a new flame, and there's a whole bunch of drama, and there was something that I thought was the case, and then I thought it wasn't the case, and then I thought it was the case again, and then I was determined it wasn't, but it was, and I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm trying not to give anything away. But if you've read the first one, it's definitely worth reading because it was fun, and I really do think I enjoyed it more than the first one. So, worth reading. It's kind of old now, but enjoy this. I got from the library, so it will not be on my bookshelf. Like I said, this was a slow month for me. That's actually all of the books I finished, which means I was almost done the Rick Riordan book at the beginning, so I only read 2 full books this month. I did, however, start Summer Days and Summer Nights. This is an anthology that was edited by Stephanie Perkins. If you've read her other anthology, it's a similar situation. That one took place in the winter around the holiday time. This one is over the summer, so there's some 4th of July, which is perfect for my outfit today, and some just plain summer. Stephanie Perkins actually revisits the characters from her winter anthology, which was really fun, and that was actually my favorite story in this one. I enjoyed this one more than the winter one. I think there were just more stories I got into. I didn't have as much of a feeling in this one that the stories were too short to be full stories as I had in the first one. There were a couple that didn't give me satisfaction in the way I was hoping, but there were a ton that did. So I really did enjoy this one, and I recommend picking it up. People that I have read before that are in here: Leigh Bardugo, Libba Bray, Cassandra Clare, Stephanie Perkins, Veronica Roth. And then actually one of my favorite stories was by somebody I'd never read before. So that was really cool too. Pick it up. Definitely. definitely. I will be having a video for summer days and summer nights coming soon, I promise, but I just finished it today, so I will probably do that tomorrow maybe. I did get some exciting books that I have not had a chance to read yet. So almost immediately after I made my last video, I went to my office and I got a message from my friend Flo, who is totally like my favorite person in the world because anytime she goes to a convention, she sends me books, and it's usually a book I am dying to read. This time, she went to Book Expo America, and afterwards, I got this, Gemina. I'm so excited. So I got Illuminae at BookCon last year, but because it moved to Chicago, I couldn't go this year because that's a plane ride and I hate planes and they're expensive and I couldn't go. But I still got Gemina and I'm so excited. It's not a hardcover this time, which I was lucky enough to get the hardcover arc last year, but I'm so excited. This book, I will link the Fandom Feels book talk for the first one down below. We were obsessed with it. It was overwhelming and wonderful. This one I think is even bigger and it looks, oh my god, I'm so excited for this book. I just can't even, I'm excited, yeah. I also got my hands on Kindred Spirits by Rainbow Rowell. This is just a short story and I'm excited to read it. I actually don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's about, but I know it's by Rainbow Rowell, and I love pretty much everything I've read by Rainbow Rowell, so I'm excited to read this one as well. This month, I also went to BCon, which is the first time it ever existed. It's a Barnes & Noble convention where they have them across Barnes & Nobles across the country, and they were giving out posters, and I participated in the trivia contest, and I actually came in 4th, but there were 3 questions that I should have gotten right, and I didn't because I'm stupid, but I should have gotten those right, which would have tied me for 1st place. But for 4th place, I ended up actually getting the 2nd best prize. So 1st place was a whole bunch of books from First in Line, which it would have been amazing. 2nd and 3rd place were tote bags, one of which I already had, the other of which I didn't really need because I have a whole bunch of tote bags. And 4th place was a book. So I got Kids of Appetite by David Arnold. He's the same author of Mosquitoland, which I have not read, but I've heard good things about. So I will have to put this on my to-read list, and I will read it at some point. Some other stuff I got at BCon. I got a sneak peek at The Fever Code, which I'm really excited about. I often don't end up reading sneak peeks just because it's like a tease. It gets me too excited for the book, but I don't know. I really want to read this. We'll see. James Dashner. This is the prequel to the Maze Runner series. So there's debate whether it's the prequel to the series or if it's a sequel to the prequel book. Kind of both, but yeah. I also got Peek. It's a series of sneak peeks. There are sneak peeks to Jesse Andrews' The Haters, 7 Ways We Lie by Roddy Redgate, Every Falling Star, The Graces, the movie version, The Romantics, and Marcy. I only know a couple of these, but you can kind of see the back what this is. I also got a sneak peek to Veronica Roth's Carve the Mark, which I also have mixed feelings about, but that gets into my feelings about Veronica Roth's previous books, which if you know me at all, you know how I feel about those, particularly Allegiant. So I'm not judging this one until I read it. I'm not sure this is one I will be sneaking a peek at early, but we will see. I also got a poster for A Torch Against the Night, and it is a cover poster, and it is a gorgeous, 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 gorgeous cover. And if you've seen my video for the first book, which I will also link below, I did one of our first fandom feels on that as well, and it is amazing. And I'm so excited for this book. This is one of my most anticipated reads of 2016, and that's saying a lot because some good books have already come out this year. But I literally just noticed, like right before I started this video, that there's a sneak peek on the back of the poster. Again, I don't usually read them, but okay, I'm done fangirling for now. Okay, and finally, this one's kind of a cheat because I technically got this in July, but it happened before I'm making this video, and it was like July 2nd, so I'm showing it now. Entangled Teen, who has sent me several books in the past, and I love them for it, has sent me another book. They sent me Life After Juliet. You may think you know me, but you don't. I am yet to be made. People, the real ones, are complicated, much more so than the ones in stories. There's no way to know them, all bits of them, and if it's things deep inside people, the cancers growing in secret places that will hurt a girl if she's not careful. This boy is dangerous. I can't do this, I whisper. Not again. It sounds like it's about a girl that loves to read, and her best friend apparently dies, but so she kind of lives in fictional worlds and books, but then realizes that real love can be better than fiction, which I don't know if I agree with, but will be interesting to read. So that is actually it for my June wrap-up. I have a lot going on this month too, but I'm hoping I will have a lot more time to read because I have a ton of books I need to read, like Gemina, Frost Like Night, and some other books that I really want to read, and it's summer, so I should have more time to read, but we will see. Anyway, that's all I got for you. So I will see you next time, and I promise to make more videos this month. Bye! Oops! This is why I include him in videos. That's exactly why. That's it. Yeah, that's why I'm holding him, because he does this when I'm not holding him.